Hi everyone, it's great to see you. Look at these 7 flats of gorgeous tuberous begonias. I'm continuing my tradition of doing a mass planting of tuberous begonias out by the street, by our brick wall. This will be the 3rd year that I've done this, I believe, and every year it just is stunning. There are certain things in the garden I just don't want to change up, but I do change it up a little bit by using a different color of tuberous begonia. These are the nonstop rose Picotee, and so they have this bi-color look to them. Just gorgeous. I keep in that pink palette that I like so much, but actually the way it lightens to white in the center of these flowers really brightens up a shady area. Tuberous begonias are typically planted in shade to part shade. You know, you can't make it complete shade because they need enough sun to bloom. If your tuberous begonias stop blooming, you might want to check and make sure they're getting enough sun. However, if you put them in too much sun, their leaves are going to crisp up and brown. So you want a nice dappled sunlight, which is really what I have in this area. They seem to love it. As you look at these, you're going to notice that there's a lot of variation in the flowers. There's going to be variation in the color. Some are more pink, some are more white, and that changes both between the flower and how old the flower is. And you're going to notice some are double or triple or many ruffles in here, and then some of them are flat and just a single layer of petals. And that's because these plants have both the male and female flowers right on them. So your flat single petal flowers here are the female flowers, and then the fancy ones are the male flowers. I've heard of some people who will go through and pick off the single ones just because they like the look of the doubles better. Honestly, I don't have time for that. And I think that it adds to that vibrant look that you have. You get to see the yellow center more of that in that particular type of blossom. So I think it's worth having them here. Usually you're going to see at least 1 or 2 of these female flowers with each of your male flowers that bloom. And it just is, they're so beautiful, and they keep blooming all the way until frost. You don't have to pick off the blossoms, which is lovely. The blossoms actually last a long time, so these are relatively low maintenance. I do recommend that you give them some fertilizer, but they're not heavy feeders. I probably give them fertilizer every 2 weeks, and that's plenty to keep the flowers going. One thing you want to keep in mind as you're planting tuberous begonias is that there is a distinct front to your plant and back to your plant. Usually the back is flatter, and you're not going to see any blossoms on that side. It's really pretty easy to turn them around and find that front side. And the side that is the front will not change. So if I plant the back side out and expect the flowers to come to this side because maybe there's more sun over here, it won't happen. So it's worth taking a moment to take a look at the plant and, oh, yep, you can really tell that's the back of it. It's flatter, no flowers showing, and position them the way you want them to really show off the best for people who are walking by your house. So I have a lot of planting to do here, and I will show you how it looks when I'm all done. So I'm out by the road here with all of these beautiful tuberous begonias that we've planted, and notice that all the blossoms are facing out, so I was really careful to position them so that the front of the begonia is showing. And you can see there's a big difference in how saturated they are with the pink. This one is very, very light colored, but it's just beautiful with that variation here. They're still pretty small, and as you can tell from how I'm dressed, it's still pretty chilly. These begonias will get at least twice as big, if not 3 times as big. And as soon as we get a little warmer weather, I think they'll be a little bit happier. But boy, they are just so gorgeous. As I was planting them, some of the neighbors were walking by and they're like, oh, those are gorgeous begonias. They're just so ripply, the tuberous begonias. Thank you for coming along and admiring these beautiful begonias with me. I have a stilby that is budded up next to it, and when that comes into blossom, I'll make sure to show you how these have come along. Thanks to Hidden Gardens for ordering these for me, so once again I could get the specific type of begonia that I wanted. We are going to have a beautiful look out here in the front of the house, and I'm so pleased with how it's come out. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.